What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. And I had to make a video about this because this is something that excites me as a boxing fan. And this could be a sleeper in the making. Now, I'm on Terence Bud Crawford, his verified Facebook account. Make sure you give him a follow, Bud Crawford. And make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Boxing Ego. I'm on all social media as well. Now, to get everyone caught up to speed, Felix Diaz, who just beat a prospect who was undefeated in PBC's co-main event, and I thought he looked damn good doing that. Felix Diaz beat Sammy Vasquez, right? And he was a last-minute replacement. So recently, he called out Terence Crawford. He says, I want Terence Crawford. And he says, I'm not a little Gamboa. You have your hands full with this gold medalist. And Terence Crawford, I'm on his Facebook, like I said, go to his page, and he got wind of it, and this is what he put. Looks like some of these boxers are starting to come around and want to fight. What do y'all think about this one? And then he's posting an article. Felix Diaz calls out Terence Crawford. To be the best, you have to fight the best, right? And he at least knows about it. I want to talk about the prospects of this particular fight. I love it. I think this is an excellent fight. Obviously, me being a boxing fan, I wanted to see Danny Garcia, Terence Crawford, but I knew that probably wouldn't happen next. Danny Garcia is most likely fighting John Molina. And when it's official, if it is made official, I'll make a video about that. But Terence Bud Crawford, one of my fears for him, I covered his last fight live with Victor Postol. After that performance, one of my fears for him was it was going to be hard for him to get fights because he's already in the division where Broner's left the division, Danny Garcia's left the division, and he just beat the number 2 guy or number 1 guy, wherever you had Victor Postol. He should have been either 1 or 2 in the current 140. And he beat him, and he beat him with ease, right? And that was a champion, and he beat him pretty easily. I was there live, right? So I was wondering, I was like, man, there's not really any big names who can fight him. So that was my fear for Terence Crawford. Plus, stylistically, you've seen guys like Freddie Roach who are on record openly telling you that we don't want to fight Crawford next. Pacquiao is a Hall of Famer. They called him the fighter of the decade, and his trainer is saying on record, that guy's dangerous. He's like a young Mayweather. I don't want to put my fighter in with him next. We need some actual tune-ups before that and stuff like that. So that was my fear. And then in comes Felix Diaz, gold medalist, and I think that's a good fight. I think it's a real good fight. Another thing I like about this fight is it's the type of fight where it's not like Crawford versus Danny Garcia. If you know all the politics in boxing and stuff like that, that's harder to make. Danny Garcia is like an A-side star. Terence Crawford is a champion with several belts, Ring Magazine belts, and all these belts, WBC belts now. So that's harder to make. Bottom line, point blank, period. So they can go back and forth on social media, but clearly that would be harder to make. Felix Diaz, he's not a cash cow. And Lou DiBella, who is promoting him, said he can go on any network. We could put him wherever. It's really up to Terence Crawford and the negotiating process if Crawford wants to take this challenge. So I think that's a stand-up fight. Very good fight. Crawford, highly skilled. I've covered 2 of his fights live, one in Omaha. Felix Diaz said he'll go to Omaha to fight Terence Crawford. You've seen him in both of his high-profile fights. Felix Diaz, he looked good versus Lamont Peterson. Some people had him beating Peterson. I think that was at a catchweight of 143. And then obviously he beat Sammy Vasquez. Initially they said he lost the fight or something, but they reversed it. It was an error in the announcing of it, and he clearly beat Sammy Vasquez. Sammy Vasquez showed heart, but it was just a difficult fight. He stayed on top of Sammy Vasquez. At first, I was like, and I seen round 1 in the Sammy Vasquez fight, and I'm like, Felix doesn't even look like the same fighter. In the first round, he didn't really look like the fighter that fought Lamont Peterson. I was like, man, what's up with his energy levels? But I think that might have been his plot to lull Vasquez to sleep and just start exploding. And he was like a vicious Sean Porter type of style, mugging style, give you no room to breathe, just lunge at you, tough. He was hurting Sammy Vasquez. So, I mean, him versus, again, I really think Felix Diaz is a tougher stylistic fight than Victor Postol. Because I knew Postol was a good boxer, but he, to me, is the type of boxer that will look exceptional against a non-good boxing purist boxer. You know what I mean? Like a Lucas Matisse, Selçuk Aydin. Those guys are more boxer punchers. They're not really, especially like Matisse, he's pretty good with boxing, but he's not good in the sense of like he doesn't move like a Crawford or a guy like, he doesn't move with a certain level of swiftness and like a Mayweather Rigondeaux. He's not that type of boxer. He's really a boxer puncher. So that style that Postal has is pretty straight up and down, and it looks good against that. But I knew Crawford would be too much for him, or that's what I believed, and that turned out to be the case. So really good fight for Terence Crawford. I mean, there's not really many people calling out Terence Crawford at the moment after his recent performances, so I see no reason why this fight couldn't or shouldn't be made. Lou DiBella said he's worked with Bob Arum, who is the promoter for Terence Crawford. Crawford's undefeated. Felix Diaz has one loss, I think, and that was to Lamont Peterson. But it wasn't a bad loss because at the end of the day, some people thought he won that fight, right? It's a good mesh of styles. It's an entertaining fight. I mean, there's really no reason I can't think of why it can't get made. And Lou DiBella said networks won't be an issue. And I do believe that because I think Felix Diaz, he's not like a cash cow type of fighter where he's going to have all these requirements. Like making Crawford versus another person on the Heyman side, like Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. I think all of those, Broner, I think those are all great fights, but they're all more difficult. Felix Diaz isn't somebody who's not bound to any network. You know what I'm saying? Like, you notice Heyman, he put Khan on a Golden Boy card versus Canelo. He put Dominic Wade on a HBO card with Triple G. A couple fighters fought on Showtime against Anthony Joshua, stuff like that. But I don't know if Heyman would give up a Broner to HBO. You know what I'm saying? He would want Crawford to fight on that network. You know what I mean? Again, if he were going to make the Crawford-Broner fight. You know what I mean? Because who wouldn't want that? But I think Felix Diaz is the type, that's like a win-win situation. He's not a big household name, even though he's had some good performances. But you could put him on HBO. And if he beats Terence Crawford, then, wow, he comes back to your network. So that's the type of fight I think business-wise, politics-wise, should and could get made. And it's probably one of the better options. I mean, I'm not really interested in seeing Terence Crawford versus Ruslan Provodnikov after, I mean, if he got outboxed by John Molina, what do you think Crawford's going to do? You know what I mean? Before he lost to John Molina, okay, that would have made sense, but he just beat Postal, so that would be a step backwards for Crawford to fight Ruslan. And I mean, Ruslan went to Showtime too, so, and he's talking about retiring possibly, so I was really struggling to see who he could fight that makes sense. So Felix Diaz, I think that's a solid fight. Bob Arum needs to see what Lou DiBella is talking about. Let me know what you guys think. Terence Crawford, Felix Diaz. But Crawford's obviously at least seen the call out because he posted it on his page. Let me know what you think of the fight. Who would win? Does Terence Crawford have what it takes to beat a guy like Felix Diaz, an Olympian? To me, I think that could be like a Gamboa, another Gamboa type of fight where it's just like a fight of the year. Crawford don't back down. He's a dog. Felix Diaz looked like he's a dog from his Peterson fight and then also his fight with Sammy Vasquez. I think that could be real explosive. Drop it in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Crawford versus Felix Diaz. Can it get made? What network? And who would win that fight? Drop it in the comment section. Share the video. Like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.